Our world is dying not suddenly, but silently. While you shake hands in comfort, the forests burn, the oceans rise, and our future disappears 1 degree at a time. You had every chance to act, every single one. The science was there clear, undeniable, and screaming for attention. The storms were stronger, the forests were burning, the oceans were rising, and yet you stood there smiling for the cameras, shaking hands, pretending everything was under control. You told us not to worry. You told us to trust you. But how can we trust leaders who knew the truth and still chose to do nothing? We are the generation that grew up watching you trade our future for your comfort. You built policies that protected your profits, not our planet. You signed deals that poisoned rivers and called them progress. You looked at our world collapsing and said, "We'll fix it later." But there is no later anymore. Later is now. Later is already burning. You told us to study hard, to follow the rules, to believe in the system, and we did. We believed that honesty and hard work could change things. But what we see now is not leadership, it's betrayal. You betrayed the very people you swore to protect. You betrayed the children who still dream of snow in winter, clean air, and a safe home. When you stood before the world and promised action, we listened. When you said net zero, we hoped you meant it. But behind your words were empty gestures, loopholes, and lies. You said green growth while approving new coal plants. You said sustainability while cutting down the lungs of the earth. You said together while leaving millions behind. Do you not see what you've done? You've turned hope into rage. You've turned trust into ashes. But make no mistake, we are not here to beg for mercy. We are here to remind you of what you've stolen. You took the world's trust, the faith of an entire generation, and you shattered it for short-term gain. You looked at children marching in the streets, demanding justice, and you dismissed them as naive. Yet those same children are now leading movements, building solutions, and fighting the fight you were too afraid to start. You may sit in your offices surrounded by advisors and reports, but we live the consequences of your decisions every day. We breathe your pollution, we face your floods, we bury the victims of your indifference. And when you tell us that change is too difficult, too expensive, too unrealistic, we hear what you're really saying, that your comfort matters more than our survival. And that is something we will never forgive. We will not forgive the empty promises, the fake targets, the endless delays. We will not forgive the way you turned climate action into a political game while people lost their homes and lives. We will not forgive how you spoke of hope while refusing to act with courage. But forgiveness is not what we are here for. Accountability is, responsibility is. The time for excuses is over. You can still choose to do what is right, but the window is closing fast. Every day you delay, more lives are destroyed, more dreams disappear, more trust is lost. You have the power to change this story, but you no longer have the right to pretend you care. Caring means action. Caring means sacrifice. Caring means doing what is necessary, even if it costs you. So we are asking no, demanding that you act like leaders, not for applause, not for headlines, but for humanity, for the children yet to be born, for the people who will never meet you but will live with the consequences of your choices. Look around you, listen to the world that's crying out. The earth does not need another speech, another summit, another promise. It needs action. Real, fearless, immediate action. Because history will remember what you did, but more importantly, it will remember what you refused to do. You had every chance to act, and you still do for now. But that window is closing, and when it does, no amount of words will save you from the truth that follows. We are not your enemies. We are your wake-up call, and we are louder than ever. So listen carefully. The betrayal of trust can never be undone, but it can still be redeemed. Not with words, not with pledges, but with courage. Real courage. The kind that acts before it's too late. And that time, my friends, is now. You tell us we are too young to understand, too young to lead, too young to demand change. But let me tell you something. It is your generation that has failed to understand what it means to take responsibility. We may be young, yes, but we are not blind. We see the fires, the floods, the hunger, the fear, and we refuse to accept that this is just the way the world is. Because we have grown up watching everything you said was impossible become necessary. You told us that people would never rise up, that the world would never listen. But look around, we are here in every country, on every continent, with one voice that will not be silenced. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking for hope. We are creating it. When our leaders failed, we organized. When the system ignored us, we built movements. When they said one person cannot make a difference, millions stood together and proved them wrong. We are not a generation of bystanders. We are the generation that will not look away. They call us radical, unrealistic, emotional, and they are right. We are emotional because we care. We care about the air we breathe, the food we eat, the planet we live on. We care about fairness, justice, and truth. If that makes us radical, then we will proudly be radicals for humanity. You may have the power of money, but we have the power of unity. You have the systems, but we have the streets. You have excuses, but we have determination. Every day, more young people are waking up, realizing that their voices matter, their choices matter, and their future is worth fighting for. From classrooms to climate marches, from villages to global summits, we are showing the world what courage looks like. We are proof that leadership does not come with age, but with integrity. Do you remember what it feels like to believe in something bigger than yourself? To fight for something that truly matters? That's what we feel every single day, not because it's easy, but because it's right. They tell us to be patient, to wait for our turn, but our turn should have been now. We cannot wait for tomorrow when the world is on fire today. We are not children throwing tantrums. We are citizens demanding survival. We are inheriting a planet on the edge of collapse, and we will not sit quietly while it crumbles in our hands. The power of the youth is not a slogan. It is a revolution of conscience. It is the unstoppable heartbeat of change. You can ignore it for a while, but you cannot stop it. Because we are learning faster, connecting faster, and organizing faster than ever before. Every time you try to silence one of us, 10 more stand up. Every time you dismiss us, our voices grow louder. Every time you tell us it's too late, we remind you it's only too late if we stop trying. We are not perfect. We make mistakes. We stumble. We learn. But we move forward because doing nothing is not an option. We do not have the luxury of indifference. We are living in a time when silence is complicity. This is not just about climate. This is about dignity, justice, and the right to exist. It's about protecting the only home we will ever have. So, to every young person listening, never believe that your voice is too small. Every movement in history began with a few people who refused to accept the impossible. You are that generation now. The one that history will write about not as victims, but as visionaries. And to those in power, look at us. We are not leaving. We are not giving up. We are growing stronger, more organized, and more united with every passing day. You can try to delay us, but you cannot defeat us. Because this fight is not about politics, it's about life itself. We are the power you forgot existed, the power of truth, the power of hope, the power of youth. And we will not stop until you listen, until you act, until justice is done. Because the world does not belong to those who stand still, it belongs to those who move it forward. And we, the youth, are moving it now. You have heard our voices. You have seen our marches, our signs, our tears. You have watched us fill your streets and your screens, demanding change. And yet, still, you act as if this is a debate, as if the laws of nature can be negotiated, as if the planet will wait for your approval. Let me tell you clearly, the world will not wait. The atmosphere does not care about politics. The oceans do not care about excuses. Nature does not respond to press conferences or promises. It responds to action or the lack of it. You stand on stages and talk about ambition, about goals, about visions. But what we need is not another vision, it's reality, it's honesty, it's leadership. We do not need more words, we need will. For too long, those in power have treated this crisis like a public relations problem. You issue statements, you sign agreements, you pose for photos, and then you go back to business as usual, back to drilling, burning, consuming, destroying. You talk about hope, but hope without action is hollow. You speak of unity, yet your actions divide us further. You say we are too demanding, but how demanding is it to ask for a livable planet? How unreasonable is it to want clean air, safe water, and a stable climate? You call it radical, we call it survival. This is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of accountability. You made promises and you broke them. You spoke of protecting the future and you sold it. You claim to lead and yet you follow the same path that brought us here. We are done applauding inaction disguised as progress. We are done waiting for courage that never comes. Because the truth is simple. You are running out of time and excuses. But here's the thing. Accountability is not only about punishment, it's about responsibility. It's about finally doing what you said you would do. It's about facing the consequences of your choices and still choosing what's right. It's about waking up every morning and asking yourself, what did I do today to protect this planet? We are not here to shame you. We are here to remind you that you still have a chance, a small, shrinking chance to redeem yourselves, to become the leaders history will remember not for their failures, but for their courage to change. You still have the power to stop this. But that power means nothing without action. Do not tell us it's complicated. Do not tell us it's expensive. Do not tell us it's too late. Because the only thing more costly than change is doing nothing at all. Every delay means more floods, more droughts, more loss, more suffering. And you know it. You have the data, the reports, the warnings. The question is no longer what must be done. The question is why haven't you done it yet? We are no longer asking for climate action. We are demanding climate justice. We are demanding that you end the era of fossil fuels. We are demanding that you protect those most affected, those who contributed least but suffer the most. And we will keep demanding because the stakes are too high to stay silent. To every world leader, every policymaker, every corporation, accountability is not optional anymore. You cannot greenwash your way out of this. You cannot silence an entire generation with promises of net zero by 2050 when we know what that really means, decades more of destruction. If you truly care, prove it. Prove it by leaving fossil fuels in the ground. Prove it by investing in clean energy, in nature, in communities, in people. Prove it by standing up to those who profit from destruction. History will not be kind to those who looked away, but it will remember those who stood up even when it was hard, even when it was unpopular, even when it meant changing everything. The future is watching, and the future is not patient. We will not wait for your approval to act. We are already building a better world, one community, one protest, one choice at a time. We are the reminder that the power you fear losing is the same power that can still save us all. So, to every leader who still has a conscience left, listen. This is your chance to be remembered for something good. Not for words, not for photo ops, but for real, measurable action that protects life on Earth. You have the tools. You have the knowledge. What you lack is courage. Find it. Use it. Because the time for excuses has ended. The time for change is now. And when future generations look back, let them say, they finally heard us. They finally acted. They finally chose life. That is the world we are fighting for, and that is the world we will build with or without you.